Welcome to From Click to Client, where we transform a confusing message into a clear, compelling story that sells. I'm your host, Kris Jones, StoryBrand marketing expert. I'm here to help you attract more dream clients with the power of story. Tracy Beavers, welcome to From Click to Client. I am so thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kris.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I am a business and sales coach from Little Rock, Arkansas. I am also a wife, a mom to 2 young adults, which blows my mind. The empty nester thing sometimes is great and sometimes it's meh. And I'm a dog mom. The last child we have left in the house is our Labrador, Patton, my trusty coworker and sidekick during the day. But my story is that about 7 years ago, I never would have thought I was going to be an entrepreneur. I went to high school, graduated, college, graduate, get the job, stay in the job for 40 years, get the pension. You know, that's how old I am. Back then, there was a pension. And, things started to change in corporate, and it just started to not feel like the right fit anymore, which really shocked me. But I had an award-winning, over 20-year award-winning sales career. Marketing, business development, gaining market share, growing, portfolios and all that. And I decided that I really needed to take my gifts and talents and go help small business owners grow. And so that's how I ended up here. It started out working here locally with all the people that knew my track record and had known me for years. And then it evolved into the online space when I started realizing that, I could have clients all over the world. And so here I am.
Wow. And what was it like when you were in corporate? What was it that made you realize like, this is not for me anymore?
You're never going to believe this when I tell you. So I knew that I didn't have any control over my time. I knew that. It's 8 to 5. You get so much PTO, you get so much sick time, 1 hour lunch, all that. Yep. But I thought having a commission structure to my paycheck, eat what you kill, right? You can make as much money as you want. Well, no, not when you work for a CEO that wants to monkey around with the commission structure every time people started to really gain traction and make a lot of money.
Wow.
And I'm still kind of shocked that it happened because the more I produced, the more money that company made. And so I don't quite know what was going on, but I just was like, wow, okay, I don't even have any control over this. And it was stressful, production role, and, sometimes 12-hour days. And I just was like, wow, my kids were at that point were high school and middle school. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm going to work for somebody I can't trust anymore. How can I and I asked him that. I was like, how can I step out in good faith and represent your company and bring you new clients when I don't know how that's going to result for me? He didn't really have a good answer. So I was like, okay. But then I had the next moment of, oh, okay, Tracy, if you don't want to do that, what do you want to do? It's like, okay, well, corporate's all you know.
Yeah.
If you're going to ditch that, what the heck does that look like? So it was an interesting time.
Yeah. How did you figure out? How'd you figure out what that was going to be for you? Number one, and number two, how did you begin to really build your business?
Yeah, great question. I was fortunate enough to be in a really great women's mastermind at the time. It wasn't centered around any certain theme. It was basically women in the community that we had all known each other for a while, and we all wanted to level up in some way. So everybody was coming at it from a different direction. Some people wanted to be better moms. Some people wanted to get the next promotion. Some people wanted to start businesses. And so I was sitting there with those women and I was like, y'all are never going to believe what the heck just happened. And I told them the story and they knew that I hadn't been happy for a while. I just really was tired of the grind. And they were like, well, sounds like you need to have your own business. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And they were like, okay. They're like, listen, people are always coming to you, asking you for sales advice. How are you so successful in sales? How do you make this look so easy? How are you growing these businesses so fast? Because the company that I left, I had grown their market share 86% the first year I was there.
Wow.
I mean, I was pretty good at what I did.
Yeah.
But these women who knew me well, they were like, Tracy, you need to help people build their businesses and teach them how to do sales. And I'm like, but sales is easy for everybody. Because Kris, I thought because sales was easy for me, I thought it was easy for everybody else. And they're like, no, it's not. And so then they said, okay, well, have you ever thought about being a coach? And I'm in Arkansas and we are slow on the uptake on the trend. And I was like, that's a thing? And they're like, yes, that's a thing. So I just felt like such a dummy. I just had no idea what was out there beyond corporate. And so if I hadn't been in that mastermind, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would have figured it out. And I really did I laugh when I think about where I started. I was the most not niched down person you will ever meet. I was a business and sales coach. I was like, come on, you want to build your business? And people are like, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, we just, we just build the business. And so anyway, I had to figure out my messaging. I had to figure out what I liked teaching, and just go and let it evolve. And it did. And then I discovered the online space and I was like, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, limitless,
Yeah.
truly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, what I love about what you just shared was like this idea that as humans, whether we're employees or self-employed, we are really inside the bottle trying to read that label that can only be read from the outside. And that is the gift of a coach or your mastermind group to really
Yeah.
look at you and be like, duh, they just saved you. They just saved you years of
Yes.
like trying to come up with things. Because
Uh-huh.
so often we're like, when we're good at something, like you are naturally gifted in sales, like you really do assume that it's easy for everybody. And I will tell you, I work with a lot of service providers and business owners and coaches. Sales is the most uncomfortable part
Mhm.
of the process, right? You can have a powerful message, you can have a great website, but when you get on those sales calls,
Yeah.
if there's a broken link there, it's really going to 100% it's going to affect your revenue and your profits.
For sure.
So tell me now, like when you work with clients, clearly you figured out your niche, your messaging,
Yeah.
and your special sauce. When clients come to you now, what are they complaining about? What are they struggling with?
They feel invisible in the online space because it is loud and it is crowded. They feel that they're afraid they're not going to find their audience. They're not sure how to attract their ideal audience to them, and they have forgotten that they need to build an email list. So they're exhausted because they're creating some people think that you have to create 7 days worth of content and be on every platform in order to have success and have high visibility enough to attract your clients. You don't. I'm living proof. When I was building this business alongside my full-time corporate job, I went all in on Facebook. That's all I had time for. It's the platform I knew best. LinkedIn back then was the place to go get a job, so I wasn't going to go there. And Instagram, I had never really used it, and I just didn't think that was the platform for me. But posting 3 or 4 days a week on one platform, but making sure that you're consistent with it, so that the algorithm starts to pick you up, so that your audience starts to expect you, and making sure that your content speaks to them and leads to your email list is the key to the whole thing.
Mm,
Because they would also they would completely forget to build an audience and build a list.
mhm,
They would throw some social media out there,
mhm.
exhaust themselves, stop posting for a couple of weeks till they caught their breath, and they'd start up again. That's like pushing a boulder up a hill and then letting it fall all the way back down.
Right,
You've got to keep it up there, even if it's just with however many posts a week you can do, and
right.
some regular weekly content. And then they were creating awesome offers, but they were like, nobody's buying my offer. And I'm like, well, do you have anybody in your audience? Do you have a list? Are you having DM conversations with anybody?
Mhm,
And they're like, no.
mm,
And then, the whole sales thing really throws people for a loop. Like the
mhm,
minute I say the word sales, everybody just goes, oh, God.
mhm.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to think about it. But we have to sell our product. We have to sell our product, our offers, and we have to
Right.
let people know about them. Otherwise, we don't have anybody to buy them.
How do you help your clients shift their mindset around sales?
Yeah. I was just talking to another colleague about this earlier today. For me, what made me successful year over year in sales was I did not focus on the sale. So what I share with my clients and my students is I want you to take the word sales and the sale out of your brain. Take it out of the equation. This is not a transaction. We are not trying to sell people knives or, pots and pans or encyclopedias like people did door to door back when you and I were little, or
Yep.
maybe when I was little.
No, no, no. I'm right there with
um,
you. Yep.
yeah. No, in order to shift your mindset around sales, what I want people to understand is that the sale comes as a result of making the connection and building the relationship. It comes as a byproduct. So when I was in corporate sales, and now my goal is to be a warm, kind human being, meeting with another warm, kind human being, whether it's on Zoom or in the DMs, or in person, and getting to know them and asking them about themselves. Where can we find that common ground? Because every person you meet will fit into your life or your business in some way. They may not be a client today, But that doesn't mean in 6 months that their circumstances haven't changed and they need to hire you. It also doesn't mean that the next day they run into somebody that needs your services and they refer you. Or, the other cool thing that can happen is what you and I are doing right now. An awesome collaboration where I am, having an opportunity to talk to your audience and grow my audience through yours. And then I'm going to have you on my podcast, and we're gonna let my audience hear from you and grow your audience through mine. I mean, you just never know where the connection's going to lead. And so if we
That's so
just
true. Yeah.
focus on meeting that other person and making that connection and finding how can we help each other, the sale will take care of itself. They will self-identify. When I tell them what I do, if they need what I have, they will say it. And so it's not my job to worry about whether or not they buy something. It's my job to just let people know what I do.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That takes all the pressure off, right? But you've got to be clear about what you do
Yeah.
first, right?
Yes.
Let's rewind for a moment. I want to get back to the list building because I think this is, you're right, it's the piece of the puzzle that I think a lot of people either forget or they put it lower on the priority list because social media is so ever present in our lives, and we feel like, oh my gosh, we have to be on social all the time. We have to be everywhere doing everything. So when a client comes to you or when you're having a conversation about the list, like if I were to say, what's the big deal with an email list? Why do I
Yeah.
need to grow that? Tell me how you'd respond.
Yeah. I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox on this one.
Do it. Do it.
Well, because the reality is every single business needs an email list. Every single business. I mean, think about it. Loft and Taylor, I'm on their email list and they're emailing me 3 times a day. Bath and Body Works, oh my stars in heaven, I think it's 5 times a day, right? Down to a mom and pop boutique, the local running store where I bought my shoes, to people like you and I that are in the online space. Every single business, whether it's product, service, brick and mortar, online, whatever, needs an email list because social media is weird. Who knows what the algorithm is doing? I don't even think the people that are supposed to be in charge of the algorithm know what the algorithm is doing. I've pretty much decided nobody knows. And so while we need to have an online presence, every kind of business needs to have an online presence. We really just need to have enough of an online presence with the right messaging to get the favor of the algorithm so that our audience can see some of the stuff we do. The reality is that a very small percentage of people that I am connected with on Facebook will see every single thing I post. And people will say, well, then why are you doing it? Well, again, it's my job not to worry about the result. It's my job to make sure I'm consistent with my content so that those that do see it are attracted to it and pulling them offline onto my list. We do not own these platforms. We are not in control of the decisions these platform owners make or don't make, or the algorithm or anything else. And so that email list, though, TikTok is a prime example of this. We've been going through it with TikTok. It was here, then it wasn't, then it was back. Is it still here? Is it here and going to stay? Who knows? I pray those people that are on TikTok are building an email list. I truly do. Instagram and Facebook shut down about 2 years ago for about 36 hours. And I'm in the Meta Leaders Network Facebook group, which is very meta to put the meta leaders in a Facebook group. So when the lights came back on, there were some success stories and there were some sad stories. There were thousands of small business owners that lost a lot of money because they were relying on social media to reach their audience. They did not have a list. The people that made money, one of my mentors sent a couple of emails to her list. She made $14,000. I don't even think she knew Facebook and Instagram shut down. I mean, she just didn't skip a beat.
Right.
And so my question is, which one would you rather be? Would you rather be the one that is building a business on a piece of property you don't own, that you have no control over, that could be ripped out from underneath you without notice? Or would you rather be like the $14,000 person and have all of your ideal clients right there with you, right there in your pocket? Because I feel like when I land, I feel like when I am in somebody's inbox, I've landed in their living room. It's a privilege and it's a treat because they want to be with me. And through that inbox, I can really have a conversation through some really creative ways to get people to reply back. I've been having so much fun with that this year. My subscribers are replying back, which is a hoot. And, you can really have those conversations that open up that connection again and the opportunity to see if you can help them, if they can help you, where's the connection going to go?
Yeah. What are some of the things that you're doing to inspire people to reply back to you?
Yeah, it's been so much fun. So, the very first email that I sent this year, it was about in the PS. Okay, so first of all, the subject line and the PS are the most read parts of the email. So you want a really catchy subject line to get them to open it. And then you can put the reply back either right before your signature, or sometimes I put it in the PS. So I've been using some of my free lead magnets to get people to reply back. My podcast, my YouTube channel, things that I already have. So the first email I sent of 2025, it said something like in the PS, did you talk crap to yourself the majority of 2024 like most people I know? If you did, I have a less than 1 minute exercise that helps you rewire your brain when those bad thoughts come in. So if you'd like it, reply back the word rewire, and I'll set you up for an awesome 2025. And I had like 20 people reply back, which is not a huge number if you look at how many people I have on my list. My list is anywhere from, my list averages around 4,000 people. So I was like, oh, I had 20 people. I was excited. I thought if those 20 people were in my bathroom with me, that would be a lot of people.
That's
right?
a room full of people. Yeah, absolutely.
So that was really fun. And then the other day I sent out one that said, so I was talking about sales, and my live training that week was going to be about sales and the ick factor and how everybody feels about it. And so I said, reply back and tell me the first word or audible noise that came to mind when I said the word sales. And just a few people replied, but it was really funny. Like one of them said, I just threw up in my mouth when I read your reply back. And I was like, that is so great. But it's like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. And then, I reply back, thank you for sharing that with me. Right? Why does sales make us feel so icky? I hope you'll tune into the training. How have you been? What do you have on deck for Q2? How is your year looking? And it just, again, gives you an opportunity to have that genuine conversation with that other person.
That's so beautiful.
Thanks.
You mentioned just in a quick comment here that you get them out of your DMs and onto your email list. Let's break that down, because that actually is a really big deal to like make that transition from an online platform into your email list. I'm assuming that it's related to a really juicy freebie, or tell us, like, break it down. How are you doing that?
It could be related to a really great freebie. It could also be related to one of my favorite ways to grow an email list is my free Facebook group. Facebook groups are brilliant marketing strategies because they are community. You can get in there amongst your ideal clients. You can get into a group where your collaboration partners are hanging out, and you can really build some relationships. So in the DM conversation, if I'm having a DM conversation with somebody, let's say that you and I met in a virtual networking session today, and I went and looked you up on Facebook, sent you a friend request, and you accepted it. And then a little while later, because I don't want to pounce on you immediately, a little while later, I sent you a message. Hey, Kris, so much fun to see you in the XYZ networking session. How were your breakout sessions? Did you meet some cool people? And you're going to reply back something. And what I would like to do is I would like to get to know you, deepen that connection, and see, is offering you my free Facebook group a benefit to you? For online entrepreneurs, it is, because we have 3,800 online entrepreneurs. You can promote your offer anytime. You can ask for support, feedback. I mean, it's a really beautiful community. But by the way, I have my Facebook group entry question set up. You want to join my email list. So that's why my list grows by hundreds of people every single month. That and the other strategies I have in place that showcase my free Facebook group. Also, you could offer somebody a free resource like we're talking about. If I'm sharing with you what I do and you're like, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting to grow my email list. And I'm like, well, what part about that feels hard? Is it this or that? And you reply one of those options. And if I've got a free lead magnet for you, like, let's say, well, here's a better example. I have a free lead magnet on how to go live without getting hives. So if the subject turned to video, what's your regular piece of weekly content? Are you going live or whatever? And you're like, heck no, I'm not going live. I might pass out. I can offer you that free resource. And then I can check back with you in a few days and see how it went for you.
Yeah, it's just showing up with a genuine heart to help, right? It's
Exactly.
so simple. And I think, it can sound daunting or scary, but when you break it down like that, it feels totally doable, because you're just genuinely trying to help. And that's what a lovely way to show up online.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned on your website that a client named Susan got 50% growth. Tell me, what did you do differently, or what did she do differently in order to like achieve that kind of result?
Yeah. So my clients achieve that kind of result a lot, whether it's 50% more clients. I just had one of my one-to-one clients this week say, we are on May 28th, and she's already got 7 new clients just this month, and the month isn't even over yet. But when it comes to list growth, and forgive me, I haven't looked at my website in a while, so I don't know exactly where the 50% growth came from for her, but I'm assuming it was for her email list. So I have over 10 strategies that I teach in my 8-week group coaching program. And when you layer the strategies in the right order, then the list growth starts to happen in the background of your business, just automatically every day without you having to think about growing your email list. So things like maximizing your social media profile, whether you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Mighty Networks, Circle, wherever you have a social profile, that social profile needs to grow your list in some way. People need to know how to connect with you and land on your list. So that's one basic thing I teach. Then being in Facebook groups where her ideal clients are hanging out and being visible and being of service. When people get curious about her, which they will, they'll go to her personal profile and they'll slide right down her list growth funnel that we've set up for her from her social media profile. Things like what we're doing right now, collaborations, being a podcast guest, how to have those authentic conversations with your ideal clients in the DMs so that it does lead to list growth and business growth in some way. So, and there's a whole host of things that I teach, and it all sort of goes together in this great, I don't know if symbiosis is the right word. I'm trying to throw out big words here like I've got some big words. But it's this ecosystem that we're creating where the growth just starts to happen.
And then ultimately, she gets to work less, right? Because all of this stuff is happening on autopilot. And so it's the ultimate dream, right? To stop hustling so much and stop the grind and really just allow people to find you and connect with you and get into your world so you can help them and hopefully they can become a client, but no pressure. They get to identify that themselves. How do you?
In fact,
I'm
go
sorry.
Ahead. One of my recent students, Rita Garcia, she said that exact same thing to me. She finished my 8-week program and she was like, Tracy, people are telling me they see me everywhere online now. And I'm like, that's so amazing. That's exactly what we were going for. She goes, but you know what? I'm working less. And I was like, I love it even more.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. I think as entrepreneurs, there's this idea that once I get this thing done, then I'm going to have more free time. And then that moment never really comes. We just keep filling our plates with more stuff and this perpetual homework of social media and whatever else it is that we feel like we have to do.
Right.
I'm a big believer in automating things so they really like lighten your load and that the automations do the heavy lifting for you. So you can really, ultimately we're in business as coaches or whatever we're doing because we do want to serve our clients. We don't want to become part-time marketers. That's not why we went into business for ourselves. We really want to just serve our clients. So how can we do more of the thing that we really love and less of the obligatory marketing tasks?
Right.
Do you help your clients with their pricing?
Yes. Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Pricing is a sticky point, especially from what I've seen for women. We tend to really undervalue and underprice what we're doing. And so, yes, that is a conversation I have a lot with my students in the program. And then after the program, they can move into the alumni mastermind. So I do help with creating offers, talking about the format of the offer, and then that helps shape the price. So when somebody tells me, oh, I've got this offer and I want to charge, $97 for it, I'm like, tell me what's in the offer. And specifically what I'm looking for is how much of you is in this offer? Is it a standalone do-it-yourself course that they can buy one time and they go off and they do it by themselves? Or are you offering them that plus a little bit of one-to-one time with you or a group coaching call or something like that? And so what the pricing to me depends on what is the transformation the person is going to receive. Also, how much time of the actual creator is involved, because that's valuable. And is it scalable? Because there's only so much of me to go around. I can only do so many one-to-one clients at a time. And then also, what is your competition doing? That has to factor in as well.
Yeah. I'm finding that the hybrid model of like some pre-recorded content with some group work and the possibility for a little one-on-one guidance is really what people want these days. I think the standalone courses, there's so many good ones out there, but the way humans operate often like we'll buy a course. I know for me, I'll buy a course and then I'll never actually do the course. And it's not the course's fault, but it's just kind of as humans, I think we need the accountability and we're craving that guidance, that custom guidance based on where we are. And so those group programs with one-on-one Voxer or however you want to
Uh-huh.
kind of nurture those relationships, I think are just so valuable and people are
Mhm.
willing to pay for them.
Yeah, they are.
What would you say to a client who's priced their offering just way too low?
Oh gosh, that's really kind of a mindset conversation, really. It's like, let me think. I did have this happen with one of my alums. She was going to charge, I think it was $27 or something. And we went through the conversation of, okay, what's in the $27 thing? What's the outcome? Da 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 da.
Hmm.
And I was like, there's no way in heck you need to be selling that for $27 because there was actually going to be a little bit of a live component of hers, but she was just scared. She was
Right.
like, who's going to buy this? Um, you know, who am I to charge more? That's a big thing that I hear a lot. I'm
Hmm.
having enough trouble charging for this in the first place because it's easy for me and I'm good at it. So therefore I shouldn't be charging for it. You know, yeah, there's a lot of that conversation that goes in. And so then my hope is to sort of guide that person to their own conclusion that
Hmm.
that price point is too low.
Right. Because if you just tell them, they're going to reject it, right? They have to really
Mhm.
how big is the problem that you're solving and how frustrating is it for the clients that you're helping solve the
Mhm.
problem? And people will find the money for the things that they value and to solve the problems that they're very eager to solve. It's pretty
Mhm.
miraculous, like how
Yeah.
resourced we are when we really want to and we're ready to solve a problem. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of psychology around that. One of the things that I encourage clients to do, there's a lot of back and forth around should I put pricing on my page? Should I
Right.
not put it on my page? And I say, if you're growing into bigger shoes, like if you're ready to step into bigger shoes and charge more,
Mhm.
put it on your website because your website is kind of like your bodyguard. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna do the job, that heavy
Yeah.
lifting of communicating your value and the price and getting people comfortable with that. And if that's like not a possibility for them, they're not going to book a call with you. So
Right.
it's a soft way to kind of get comfortable with your own pricing. I know I've
Right.
done that for my own business, and when it's on a website, or often I'll on calls with potential clients, I have like a hidden page on my website that just outlines my pricing structure and what the investment is.
Mhm.
And I'll pull that up on the call and let the page tell them, I'll share my screen, right? And so they get to look at my infographic of what my process is and then
Yeah.
the price and the payment plan options. And
Mhm.
it's all right there in front of them. So they're not just hearing it from me. It's actually a visual that they can look at it. It also allows me to stay true to my own pricing. I mean,
For
I've
sure.
when I up leveled my offer and I started charging more for it, it's still ridiculously affordable. And I think that's part of the key. Like we want
Yeah.
to feel like our pricing that we feel compensated for the work that we're doing, but also that there's so much value packed into it that like you could charge twice as much
Yeah.
because it's so value packed. So you kind of feel like I don't know, you're doing them a favor when they buy from you because
Yeah.
you're delivering so
Mhm.
beautifully. So I know when I changed my pricing, I watched myself. It was really interesting. I watched myself in the discomfort of having these
Yeah.
conversations. And I had to do that maybe 3 or 4 times. And then I just settled into
Yeah.
the new price point. And I've been doing this work a long time, 23 years. And it was just such a good reminder to me of like
Mhm.
of that feeling because like
Yes.
you never really it's always gonna be there in some way, shape, or form as you continue to
Yes.
push your boundaries and grow as an entrepreneur and as a human. You're gonna get into some uncomfortable territory, and then it's a great reminder that after a few conversations, it actually goes away.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I like to practice saying the amount just walking around the house. When I raise my prices, let's say you're raising your prices to from like $4,000 to like $6,000 or
Mhm.
$7,000. And at first, when you say $7,000, you're like, oh, hold on. But if you just walk around the house going, it's $7,000. How much is it? It's $7,000. Would you like to know how much it is? It's $7,000. $7,000. And it just, starts to like, and your
Right.
brain gets on board with it. But yeah, no, I totally, like the first time I raised my prices and I went to tell somebody about it, I had that reaction of, "Oh, okay." And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, no, you got to do better, Tracy. You got to do better.
All right. So, tell me, like, one of the things you talk about is really helping people overcome overwhelm. So, tell me
Yeah.
about a time in your own business that you felt overwhelmed and what did you do to overcome that? Because that is just rampant, right?
Oh, it is so rampant. Yes. So no, let's just go back to when I was building this business alongside my full-time corporate job. Two kids that were high school and middle school, played every sport that had a ball. And so there's the overwhelm of the emotion of it. Is this business gonna work? Am I gonna be successful? Am I gonna be able to leave my corporate job? Is anybody gonna want to hire me ever? You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's all that emotional overwhelm going on inside. And then it's the overwhelm of learning the freaking online space. Like, I don't know about you, but I came into this, I was a little cocky. I was like, okay, I'm highly intelligent. I have an award-winning sales career.
Mhm.
I can figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought people were speaking another language. Kajabi, funnels, lead magnets. And forget about social media. I didn't really know a whole bunch about the platform and the algorithm and how it worked and what it liked and what it didn't like. Oh my gosh. I felt like there was a time I didn't know how to use Canva. I had no clue how to use Canva.
Mhm.
And so I remember very distinctly having all of that coursing through my body because tech is not my love language. So learning Canva, ugh, okay. Learning Kajabi, God, that was a massive learning curve.
Mhm.
I just wanted to help people build their businesses, right? I had the overwhelm of all the other stuff. So what I had to do, first of all, was calm down, realize that it's all going to be okay, and remind myself, you are highly intelligent. You can figure things out. You have figured things out in the past. It's going to be okay. And then I had to be really honest with myself because part of my overwhelm was being in a race to get this thing built so I could get out of corporate.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I was about 6 months into the race that I realized there's really no finish line with an online business. I'm not building a McDonald's franchise that you can just build, hire the people, put the cash registers in, and stand back and go, that's beautiful. I'm going to go build another one. It's not done. It's evolving, and you're changing offers and you're changing your marketing messaging, and there's always something to do.
Mhm.
So once I was like, oh wow, this is really different. I had to be really honest about the time that I had each week because I promised my husband this would not take over our lives. He was on board with it as long as our retirement didn't get derailed that we had worked so hard to stay on track for, and that the kids and he did not feel like mom's working all the time.
Mhm.
So what helps me when I start to feel overwhelmed is to make a list.
Mhm.
What has to be done? Does this thing have to be done for me to be successful? Does it have to be done by me? Like, I'm a super fan of hiring for a few hours of help a week before you can really afford it because it takes so much. It gives you so much energy back
Yes.
and space. Um,
Mhm.
so does it have to be done for success? Does it have to be done by me? Does it have to be done right now?
Mhm.
And then realizing that I just need to do the next right thing and make the next right decision and not try to. Somebody said the other day, and it reminded me of this beautiful analogy of if you're trying to go up a staircase and you're looking way too far at the top, you're going to trip on your way up. You
Mhm.
need to take it one step at a time.
Mhm.
And so
That's
that I just
good.
had to calm myself down and be like, okay, Tracy Beavers, what would you say to one of your clients? You know, how would you help them? And then just really prioritize, realize that I couldn't do everything and I couldn't run as fast as the people I had around me. In some of the programs I was in, there were people that were doing this for a full-time job and they were doing their launches and they were making $20,000 and they were doing this and that. And I was just like, oh my God, am I ever going to get there? But comparing myself to them was not helpful at all.
Mm. I know, right? Just a recipe for anxiety,
Yeah.
honestly. I really love writing things down. I do
Mhm.
less of it now because now if I know it needs to get done, I'll put it in my calendar. And if I can't
Mhm.
do it in the day I put it in my calendar, I'll move it to another day. No big deal. I used to give myself grief if I moved something to another day. But then I realized, like, no, this is my calendar and it's here to serve me and my life. And
Yes.
so the important things make it to my calendar. But so often, I think as moms, I mean, there's so much to navigate with, like you
Yes.
said, sports and school and summer and whatever it is. With all the mom stuff, all the work related stuff, I think it's so therapeutic to get it out of your head and onto paper. And
Yes.
what I would do, I did this for a very long time, and I'm not like done with doing this. I just, if I get overwhelmed, this is what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
get an 8.5 by 11 printed piece of printer paper. I
Mm-hmm.
fold it in half. And well, first off, I get a piece of paper and I write everything down that I need to
Yes.
do.
You're right.
Right. Just get it out of my head and onto paper. And
Yeah.
then I get a new fresh piece of paper. I fold it in half and I write like this week and
Yes.
then later on the
Yeah.
other half. And then I like recopy everything that I brain dumped
Yeah.
into those two categories. And then on the this week thing, I circle the things that have to happen in the next today or tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I love
and
that.
then it just narrows it down. And then I end up with 3 things that I know I've got to focus on, and it's really helpful. So
I
thank you
love
for
that.
sharing that.
You
Yeah.
bet. I love that you put things in a parking lot for later. I
Yeah.
love a parking lot.
Later. And I like that it's not even next week, just
No.
later.
Yeah. Because some of those things I've ended up putting in the later or the parking lot, I've gone back and looked at a few weeks later when it's later, and I'm like, well, that was a dumb idea. I'm so glad I did.
Not important. Thought it was
Do that
urgent.
one.
Yeah. Not important.
Yeah. Because everything feels urgent when you're in that overwhelmed
Yeah.
spiral. It's just, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. A fresh piece of paper makes me happy too.
It really does. And that like printer paper,
Uh-huh.
it feels so good. It's got to
Yeah.
be like, it can't be too thin.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, as we wrap up today, what would you tell your corporate self now, looking back?
Holy cow. You're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's gonna
Yeah.
feel messy and it's gonna be messy, but you're gonna get there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, so tell my listeners, where can we find you? Do you have anything that you want to share with us?
Sure. Well, I'm excited to have you on my podcast. I think we're doing that in the next few weeks,
Yep.
if I recall. My podcast is called Create Online Business Success. And I assume your listeners love podcasts. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening to us right now. So I'd love for them to check mine out. Also, if they are on Facebook and they love a great Facebook group, mine is called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. Get visible, grow your email list and your income. It is a really special community of people that truly care about each other, that want to help each other. You can promote your offers when you need to, which, I was afraid to do that in the beginning, but it's the people that I attract into the community are like you and I, and they're not going to take advantage of that. But they are there to help each other. So it's been really fun.
That's beautiful. Okay, so the Facebook group name is what again?
It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
And then
it.
it's like get visible, grow your list and your income. But just look for Be a
Okay.
Confident Entrepreneur. And if they just want to look me up on Facebook, I'm Tracy Lane Beavers, and they'll see it on my personal profile.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. Everybody go join that Facebook group. I'm going to join it myself, and I will see you in there. Thank you again for your time today, Tracy. It's been
Thank you for
such a
having me.
delight. Is your website turning away potential clients? I can help you turn that around. Book a money-making messaging call with me today, and we'll transform your story into your most powerful sales tool. That's all for this episode of From Click to Client. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. I'm Kris Jones, and I'll see you next time.